Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host of the UFC Forecast, and we're back for International Fight Week in Las Vegas, UFC 290. We got 2 title fights. First up, Alexandre the Great Volkanovski's back in the octagon against Yair Rodriguez. And in the co-main event, Brandon Moreno, he's going to defend his belt for the first time against Alexandre Pantoja. And Pantoja has 2 wins over Brandon Moreno, so it's going to be a very close fight. And this card is full of 3-1, 4-1 favorites. We got some 8-1 favorites as well. So we're going to see if we like any underdogs here, see if we can make some money. But first, let's take a look at UFC Vegas 76, the recap. I went 50% of my picks. I'll pull them up, 6 out of 12 here. I had Sean Strickland in the main event against Loaf's Dog of the Week, Abus Magomedov. And I don't know where Loaf is. I don't know if he's going to be with the forecast any longer. He's probably just going to be a special guest now. So you won't be seeing his picks this week, or his locks and dogs. And my locks last week, the Russian Cream, Damir Ismagulov, Rinat Fakhretdinov, I went 50% on those. Rinat, he was the real deal. First round finish against Kevin Lee. But Damir Ismagulov, he struggled with the takedowns once again at the control time of Grant Dawson, who's going to be a problem in that lightweight division now. And Loaf was locked in on Michael Morales, and he got that done over the course of 3 rounds, making Max Griffin feel the pain. And we had some weird scoring at UFC Vegas 76. Melissa Gatto, she lost, potentially should have won. And I had Carl Rosa to win, and she probably should have lost against Ziana Santos. Bonfim, that was a big parlay buster. Saint Denis, Dreadstock's in the Discord. He came over for the fights. He lives close by. And yeah, he was just rubbing it in my face right away when Saint Denis got that submission. So, fuck's sakes. He was totally right. And Bruno Ferreira, he got finished in the first round to Ruzaboev. And Ruzaboev was huge in that octagon, man. So I had to put some money on him in round 1. And that cashed. Got the job done as an underdog. Loaf was super high on him last week. And luckily I followed on that one. And unfortunately I took my winnings and put it all on Abus Magomedov in the first round after that. I thought Abus was going to get Strickland out of there in the first round. Changed my pick last minute. And I went with Lowe's underdog of the week in the first round, Abus Magomedov. But after that first round, Abus looked like shit and got finished. So really regret that. That just goes to show you don't always have to listen to Loaf. I just should have sticked with my gut, Sean Strickland, because he ended up finding that knockout a lot earlier than the 4th or 5th round. Abus just gassed right away. And on the prelims, we had another parlay buster, Guram Kutaladze. He got knocked out late against Elves Brenner. And I said Elves was on my DraftKings because I knew he was a dog, man. He likely wasn't going to get finished. And he proved it too, man. He wore a lot of damage. He was definitely going to lose that fight by a decision. And then he found that lucky knockout shot that just sat Guram Kutaladze down. Put him right on his knees. And another Brazilian, underdog, Luana Carolina. I told you guys she was going to win that by a decision. Plus 200. And she got it done. So I cashed another ticket there. And my underdog of the week got her done. So this week, my underdog of the week is going to be another Brazilian. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And the first fight of the card was Alexander Romanov, Blagoy Ivanov, and I thought Blagoy was going to get that done, but Romanov, he had the gas tank surprisingly. I can't believe he did. I know he was gassed and he was super tired, but Blagoy just didn't even have any power whatsoever to knock out Romanov. He wasn't able to get him to the ground because Romanov was so heavy. Romanov was just pushing him up against the fence, so that was a bad one to bet Blagoy Ivanov in the first round and by KO. You know, it could have been a very good investment, but Blagoy did not come to fight. So let's get right into these early predictions for UFC 290. We're going to start it off with the prelims, and this is the current bout order. It's Tuesday, July 4th. Happy 4th of July to all my American listeners right now. I'm not drinking tonight, just got some Powerade. So let's get refreshed, rehydrated. And first up, we got Kamuela Kirk and Esteban Ribovics. Ribovics has 1 fight in the UFC against Loic Radzhabov. Radzhabov was short notice and had a lot of takedowns, but Esteban in that 3rd round, he was still live, still looking for that finish. Esteban has a 100% finish rate, 6 knockouts, 5 submissions. He has 3 Kimura submissions, an inverted triangle, a key lock. He has a Superman punch knockout. This guy is very technical and mixes it up very well on the feet. I think he's a much better striker than Kamuela Kirk here. He's coming in as the favorite. And I think he's probably going to get this one done by finish against Kamuela. Kamuela just got finished against Damon Jackson in that 2nd round. He also got finished to Billy Q on the Contender Series. And he has a decision loss to Bruno Souza. not the best striking accuracy for Kamuela Kirk, and he's definitely going to need the accuracy against Ribovics, who's going to have a great defense and be coming in there looking for the finish right away. There is a 7-inch reach advantage, which is a little bit concerning. Kamuela will have the reach advantage, but I think Esteban's just going to storm in on him. And next up on the prelims, we got Shannon Ross and Jesus Aguilar, and there's a couple Mexicans on this card and a couple Australians. So, there's going to be a lot of banger fights. These guys really come to fight. And Shannon Ross, this guy has 6 knockouts, 5 decision wins, but the competition's pretty low. And against Clayton Rodriguez, I said he is not UFC caliber. He's going to get finished. And when you look at the side of Jesus Aguilar, he got finished in the first round as well, but it was to Tatsuro Taira. Jesus is a dog, and I think he does belong in the UFC. This guy has 6 submissions. So on the feet, Shannon Ross might have the slight edge, but Jesus Aguilar is going to take this to the ground and find that submission. He has a big submission win over Edgar Chairez, who's fighting Tatsuro Taira on this card. I don't even know why they even booked that fight, to be honest with you, because Aguilar got submitted to Taira, and Aguilar submitted Chairez, so why the hell would they put Chairez against Taira now? But Tatsuro Taira really needed someone to fight. Edgar's going to take it on short notice and definitely get submitted in that one. But for Jesus Aguilar, I think this is a spot where he can submit Shannon Ross. Shannon Ross does have a submission loss to Steve Ersag. We just seen him, who came in as an underdog, got the job done. And after that fight, we all know Ersag's a lot higher level than Shannon Ross. I'm definitely not picking Shannon Ross. He lost his last 2 fights by finish. Vincius Salvador finished him on the Contender Series. Then he got the chance against Clayton Rodriguez. Now they're going to give him another chance. I just see him getting finished here again. This one is probably going to be by a submission. And next up, we got Cameron Simone and Terrence Mitchell. Cameron Simone is very well liked by the judges, by the odd makers. He's a 120 favorite. He's 8-0. Just won by a majority decision against my boy Manny Martinez. And Terrence Mitchell, this guy is a pretty decent fighter. He's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage, but he's fighting on the Alaskan scene, very low-level competition, low-level scene. He got knocked out to Kai Car France on tough, and he was super cocky there. I don't like his attitude. I think Cameron Simone at 22 years old, 10 years younger, he's super hungry, training with Dricus du Plessis. He's probably going to get this one done either by a decision or find that knockout late. And there's no way I'm going to have any money invested on this fight. Cameron Simone, I'm not the biggest fan of him, and he's way too big of a favorite right now. Terrence Mitchell's wild. He can come in there, get this finish. You never know. He really wants to make a name for himself here after that loss to Kai Car France. He's been finishing a lot of guys in that first round, so you never know. I'm not doing anything with either side. And next up, we got Vitor Petrino, 8-0 against Marcin Prachnio. Prachnio just beat William Knight there by unanimous decision, wasn't able to find the finish. This guy couldn't find the finish against Khalil Roundtree. And Vitor Petrino, he has 6 knockouts, and he had 7 takedowns last fight. Although he got taken down, I don't think Marcin Prachnio is going to get these takedowns. Petrino can use the wrestling if he needs to in this fight, but he's going to have the power. He's going to be looking for that knockout. I think he gets it done here. And this is a spot that I'll probably be looking to bet, looking to put it in a little parlay piece, because Marcin Prachnio has a pretty questionable chin, 4 knockout losses, and I don't think he's going to last too long with the power of Petrino in this one. I'm going with the Brazilian all day. And next up on the prelims, on short notice, we got the guy who got submitted to Jesus Aguilar, Edgar Chairez. And he's fighting the guy that just submitted Jesus Aguilar in the first round by triangle armbar, Tatsuro Taira. He's the real deal. Last 5 out of 6 wins by submission. He's going to get the submission in this fight. There's not much else to add here. I don't see a way of Edgar Chairez getting this one done. He's going to come in there wild in the first round because he has no other choice. Tatsuro Taira's just going to duck under the punches, get the takedown, get the submission. Chairez's last opponent was 6-5. Very low level. There's absolutely no way he wins this fight. 100% Tatsuro Taira gets that first round finish. And it's definitely going to be by submission because the last 5 out of 6 were by submission. He only has the 3 knockouts, and I don't think he has too much power on the feet. He's a BJJ nerd, and he's very lethal with those submissions. You're going to see. And next up, we got a rescheduled fight between Jimmy Crute, Alonzo Menifield. Last time it was a draw. Menifield probably would have won that fight if it wasn't for the point deduction. He had 2 knockdowns in that fight. But Jimmy Crute's very tough. He did not drop. He did not quit on himself. He had a lot of takedowns in his own rights. He was getting those takedowns. And, if he can avoid the power of Alonzo, he could probably get the takedowns again, get the control time, get the win here. That's why he flopped to a favorite. But my heart's still telling me Alonzo Menifield is probably going to come in here and get those knockdowns. He has serious power. Look at the size of this guy, man. Just one good shot on the chin, and it could be lights out for Jimmy Crute. Jimmy Crute's chin hasn't been great in the past, and I just can't trust it right now. And in the interviews after the fight, he acknowledged Alonzo's power, so it's probably going to be in his head again this fight. I'm just going to stick with my heart, stick with the gut. I'm going with Alonzo Menifield once again in this fight. He's going to get it done by a decision, or he's going to find that knockout this time around. And next up on the prelims, it's my Brazilian underdog, $4, Denise Gomes against a 122 Mexican favorite, 10-0 Yazmin Jauregui. She's a very good striker, but her last fight against Estela Nunes got dropped before she found that knockout. And she went over 3 on takedowns. Denise Gomes averages a takedown, and I believe she's going to find the takedown and control time that she needs to get this job done. She has power in the hands as well if she wants to find that knockout. And Yazmin, I think she could get dropped again, and I can't wait to sprinkle a little bet on Denise Gomes by KO because I'm sure it's going to be very high value. A lot of people are definitely not picking her to win in this fight, but I'm going to make her my underdog after Luana Carolina, Brazilian, came through last week. And I'm telling you right now, not all these 4-1, 3-1 favorites are going to win, and this is the perfect one to ruin some parlays. It's a women's fight. You got to put a little bit on Denise Gomes. Trust me. And next up on the prelims, we got Jack Della Maddalena with a new opponent, Hosea Harrell, 7-0. And this guy's going to look to beat Jack Della Maddalena, who's been on an absolute tear. Just submitted Randy Brown in that first round. And he has 11 knockouts, only 2 submissions, so that submission was quite impressive. But Harrell, I don't know what he's going to do here. I think JDM is the real deal. His last 4 wins all in the first round. And I think this is going to be another first-round finish, an absolute domination. And you love to see guys get short notice opportunities that deserve it. This guy's 7-0. He's been working hard, but he's been on the Ohio promotion, pretty low level. And next up, we got the prelim headliner, another 3-1 favorite, Nico Price, against Robbie Ruthless Lawler, who's probably going to be hanging them up. He's 41. He's been taking so much damage. Brian Barberena finished him. And normally, a couple of years back, that wouldn't have happened. Nico Price likely is going to find the finish. A couple of years back, probably wouldn't have happened. And in that last fight against Phil Rowe, Nico Price was proving that he still has game. And in this fight, he's likely easily going to find that TKO. He has 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. He has that crazy upkick against James Vick. He's super wild. He probably wants to get a big finish, get a bonus here. Robbie Lawler's the perfect opponent, ready to hang him up. And every dog has his day, and I don't think this is Robbie Lawler's day to get the job done. It's probably time to hang him up here. Nico Price, he has been knocked out 4 times. Jeff Neal, Abdul Razak Al Hassan, Vicente Luque, so that would be crazy if Lawler could get this done by KO. But I'm not picking him to win, and I'm not going to be betting it. But I'll definitely be rooting for him because, he's a legend of the game. But hard to go against the big favorite here, Nico Price. And in the Discord, if you want to join that, it's absolutely free. People are giving their locks and dogs of the week. The community's chatting about some fights. And we also have the locks, dogs, and props of the week posted in there, early access. So jump in that Discord. Links in the bio. If you want access to all of our bets, join Patreon. It's only $5 a month. I have platinum picks, Forecast Forensic out there as well. And I also post DraftKings lineups in there as well. And I do some live bets during the fights. So jump on that Discord. Really appreciate that support, everybody. And if you haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button, suplex the subscribe button. I'm going to give away $500 once we hit 500 subscribers. We're getting close. We're halfway there. But we need a couple more people subscribing, so don't forget to suplex the hell out of that subscribe button. Let's get right into this main card. This main card is stacked, and they're giving us a huge favorite right off the bat in Bo Nickal against Tresean Gore. There's not much to really break down about this. Bo Nickal, high-level collegiate wrestler, national champion, now training at American Top Team, 100% finish rate all in the first round. He's going to get the takedown. He's going to get the submission here. His last 3 wins all by submission. And Tresean Gore, he just used his wrestling last fight against Josh Frem there. And on the Ultimate Fighter, Tresean Gore also got a big knockout win over Gilbert Urbina, my former lock of the week. But Tresean, man, he got knocked out to Cody Brundage. He has a decision loss to Brian Battle. And Bo Nickal, man, like, he's a huge favorite for a reason. He's going to absolutely strangle Tresean Gore in that first round. And the odds are going to be absolutely steamed. There's not much to talk about it. Bo Nickal is so much higher level on the ground. Like, just light years ahead of this guy. And he's going to prove it. This guy, he's going to probably make a huge run in that middleweight division. I would not be surprised if they try to push this guy for a title shot within the next year or two. And next up, we got my lock of the week, Jalen the Tarantula Turner. He's 13-6, but he's been fighting very good guys. He had a split decision last fight against Mateus Gamrot, where he dropped Gamrot in that third round, showed his great cardio, and showed his will to win. He also had a loss to Frivola in 2019, and he has a knockout loss to Vicente Luque in 2018. This guy has constantly been improving and growing, and he's 6'3", 77-inch reach advantage. He's huge for the lightweight division. Dan Hooker is already pretty big at 6 feet, 75-inch reach, but in this fight, Jalen Turner, he's been training with Khamzat Chimaev, and I know Chimaev's been training with Guram Kutaladze, but Kutaladze was looking phenomenal before he got knocked out there. Jalen, in the film I was watching, he looks really good on the feet, on the ground, and I think he's going to find the finish. He does have a 100% finish rate. He has 9 knockouts and 4 submissions, but in the UFC, 2 of them were by submission, and 1 was to Brad Riddell, who Dan Hooker has trained with at City Kickboxing down there. I believe Jalen's going to be too long and hard to deal with in there for Dan Hooker, and Jalen eventually will find that finish. So I could see a big shot landing for Jalen Turner, and then Turner jumping on that back like a tarantula, sinking in that submission, and submitting Dan Hooker. And next up, another 4-1 favorite here, Robert Whittaker against Dricus du Plessis. And I don't like any of these big underdogs. I think the odds have the right favorite, but they're very steamed. It's going to be hard to single bet them, but you could probably parlay them if you're smart. I see Robert Whittaker getting this one done, probably by a knockout late or a brutal dominant decision. Dricus is going to gas out against Whittaker. Whittaker has great cardio. He's been fighting the much higher level guys. He fought Izzy twice. He beat Yoel Romero twice. And then he beat Cannonier, Till, Gastelum, Vittori. Dricus has only beat Darren Till and Brad Tavares. I don't think he's ready for this. You know, in the future, he's going to be good in the middleweight division, but right now, I don't think he has the cardio and the gas tank to go in there with Robert Whittaker. Whittaker is going to really put some damage on Dricus here. Probably find the finish, probably in the third round, late second, but dominant, brutal decision, like I said, is definitely how this one probably goes. And Whittaker's last 6 wins all were by decision, but this is that one, you know what I mean? Just like Sean Strickland last week, that he was able to find the knockout. So I would not be surprised if Robert Whittaker gets that knockout. He's a huge favorite here. He's in his prime, and I believe he's a higher level fighter. He's going to get this one done. He's very safe to parlay. And next up, we got the co-main event, Brandon Moreno, Alexandre Pantoja. And this is the third time. First time, Pantoja got the submission in tough. Second time, Pantoja got the decision. Third time, Brandon Moreno, I believe he has grown. And he is going to continue to grow. He is relentless. And Moreno won his last 2 fights by TKO. So on the feet, I believe he has improved so much since that last Pantoja fight. And on the ground, I believe he has grown as well. Just constant improvement from Brandon Moreno. On the Pantoja side, yeah, he's improving, but, you know, he's always been good. His last 3 wins, 2 of them were by submission, and I cannot see him submitting Brandon Moreno. Moreno's too relentless. He has a good submission defense, and he has a good takedown defense as well. I think Moreno will get the takedowns and will be more aggressive with the control time. And on the feet, I think he has the power. The doctor had to come in there against Davison Figueiredo and stop that one. I think Moreno's going to get Pantoja bloody here. He's a Mexican. It's International Fight Week. Like, I can't go against Brandon Moreno here. I forecast he's going to defend that belt, and he's going to get his revenge against Alexandre Pantoja. I know some people in the Discord like the side of Alexandre Pantoja. The value is definitely on the side of Pantoja. He's a 262 underdog here. He has 2 wins already over Brandon Moreno, but looking at the last couple fights, Moreno has been fighting the higher level guys. A couple fights over Davison Figueiredo in his prime, and then the body shot finish to Kai Kara France was pretty deadly as well. Don't forget about that. And next up, we got the main event, Alexandre the Great Volkanovski against Yair Rodriguez. And he's tricky, he's wild, and that's what it is going to take to beat Alexandre Volkanovski. But there is no way I'm going against Volkanovski after that unanimous decision loss to Islam Makhachev. Volkanovski's stock should rise after that fight. He looked too good in that loss, up a weight class, against someone who's essentially untouchable right now in Islam Makhachev. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he can find that knockout. I know his only knockout recently was the Korean Zombie, and that was in the 4th round. But like I said, Yair's so wild, he could get caught in something here and just get beat up against Volkanovski. But Yair is probably going to try to keep this one at distance. He has the height advantage here, and he's going to be hard to hit. Volkanovski could play that wrestling game like he has in the past, just get that control time. Another 4-1 underdog that I don't see cashing. I just cannot bet Yair Rodriguez. Volkanovski, I can definitely see him in some parlays. He could be on the safety parlay as well. There's no way he's losing that belt, man. This guy is on another level, and he's just going to control this fight. And now it's time for the lock and dog of the week. My lock of the week this week is going to be Jalen Turner against Dan Hooker. 100% finish rate, the Tarantula. I believe he's going to find the finish here against Dan Hooker, who has a questionable chin at that, but also on the ground is probably going to be outclassed against the Tarantula here, Jalen Turner. And my underdog of the week, I'm rocking another Brazilian, another woman's fighter, Denise Gomes, against the Mexican Yazmin Jauregui, undefeated. I believe that 0 is going to have a 1 beside it. And the $4 underdog's going to have more power in her strikes. She likely can find the takedowns as well here. Yazmin Jauregui was dropped in her last fight, and I think she's going to get dropped again against this bad Brazilian, Denise Gomes. And if you're not following us on Instagram and Twitter, make sure you check us out. I have content out there pretty well daily. I have the locks of the week out there, some free bets out there as well. So check out our Instagram and Twitter. We also have TikTok as well if you want to check out some of our shoeys that we did in the past. But like I said, if you want to get access to our bets, join Patreon for only $5 a month. We have Platinum Picks, a feature in there as well. Forecast Forensic, another feature. And another feature for the Patreon members is unlocking channels in the Discord. Discord's absolutely free. Links in the bio, so join that. We're going to have the locks, dogs, and props of the week posted in Discord for early access. And we also have a community growing in Discord, so I hope to see you guys there. And we're going to be back on Friday for the post-weigh-in face-off show. And at the end of the video Friday, I'll have the props of the week there for you guys, so stay tuned.